My social justice book talk is Crossing Jordan by Adrian Vogelin. It is realistic fiction, and I would recommend it for grades 6 through 8. Daddy held out his hand and said, "Give me another nail." "The fence is awful big," I said, handing him one. "Good fences make good neighbors," he said, and gave the nail a whack. "But we won't even be able to see the new neighbors with this fence in the way." I pulled my hair back because it was very hot. Summer's the worst time to be living in Tallahassee, Florida. But Daddy was determined to finish the fence before the new neighbors moved in. "If they stay out of our business and we stay out of theirs, we'll get along fine," he said. The for sale sign on the house next door had hardly been up a week when Mama told us she had heard that a black family had bought the old Faircloth place. Daddy brought his fist down on the table and the supper plates jumped. "Place is going to go downhill," he said. I chose this book because I knew the story from years ago when I was a Battle of the Books coach for 7th graders. Students who read the book often used it as an example in class discussions. For example, when we read Huckleberry Finn. They compared the discrimination in both books. Crossing Jordan is current, but the students were able to understand that racial discrimination is still in our society. This book is based on an actual event witnessed by the author in the late 70s when she was growing up in Florida. Cassie and Jimmy become neighbors. However, Cassie's father, a factory worker, had built a border fence, like a wall, because he had heard that the new neighbors were an African American family. Jimmy was a girl Cassie's age. Her mother was a nurse, and there was a small baby and a grandmother character who was the voice of reason and humor in a story. So, more than racial differences, there were socioeconomic differences that made the father feel more insecure. The girls met through a hole in the fence and became friends. They hid their friendship, realizing the problem it would cause their families, because Jimmy's mother was not happy with the fence. The generation gap between the girls and their parents becomes evidenced through a series of events, both humorous and life-threatening. So, more reason to keep the friendship secret. The girls find a book, Jane Eyre, and bond over reading the book together. Also, they are both runners, and they secretly meet to practice whenever they can. They want to be a team titled Chocolate Milk when school begins, and they want to beat everyone in the track meets. As differences and prejudices bring the two families together, patience, thankfulness, and understanding began a metamorphosis in Cassie's dad and Jimmy's mother. Crossing Jordan is part of a lyric in an old spiritual means freedom. Discussion questions I might use for class would be, what does separate but equal mean? Have you ever been accused of something you did not do? Have you ever had a friend your parents didn't like? And how can you mend fences when others build them? How can you help others to mend fences? This novel could be used in many subject areas, of course, language arts, social studies, and I believe physical education. I believe there you could promote tolerance and cultural respect for all of our differences.